Moving ahead, I take the opportunity and would like to welcome our first keynote speaker who will be delivering some valuable insights and throwing some light on the crucial topic. The topic is building a skills-centric organization, leveraging L&D for future growth. Before we call the gentleman up on the stage, yes, I'm going to follow the drill, and that's narrating few lines about our speaker. He is none other than Dr. Vinod Bidwai. Dr. Vinod is a transformational HR leader with a proven track record of turning around HR and business practices to drive large-scale business impact. With extensive cross-industry experience in both Indian and global organization, he has successfully led cultural and organizational transformations that build agile, values-driven, and future-ready teams. His expertise lies in aligning people strategy with business goals through talent transformation, leadership development, and capability building. Mr. Vinod has played a pivotal role in redesigning organization, launching internal universities for reskilling, and fostering a strong culture of trust, performance, and innovation. He's a CHRO and a Group Director, Human Resources, People and Culture, AP Global, Sakar Media Group. Can we please welcome him with a round of applause? Dr. Vinod up on the stage. I hope so you're happy with my introduction. I hope you're pleased. Well, thank you so much, and over to you.
Good morning. How are you feeling today? Awesome. Thank you. Because today when I was coming to the office, we have an app, and that app asks every day how you are feeling today. So it's like a mood meter. So I was just trying to understand what is the mood of this audience. Okay, I am going to talk about more L&D strategies and how to make the organization future ready in terms of what are those practices and my own experiences. What I'm doing here in Sakar Media Group, which is a part of AP Global A. To brief about our AP Global A, we are the largest media house. Just yesterday, we got the certification from Audit Bureau of Circulation that we are the highest circulation in Maharashtra. And we are among top 10 in India. So our reach is almost 10 lakh and readership is almost 50 lakh in Marathi language. We are into different medias, including TV, digital, event, exhibitions. And we are not only in Maharashtra, but we organize the events globally also, like Europe. And our few IPs are like Educon and different Educons, what we organize for the students and industries. So, and we also have technology companies, farming companies, food delivery companies, which in the organic food, so all these things. So what we are doing here, because our product and our organization is not necessarily only dedicated one, it's a diverse thing. So it is a combination of legacy company, almost 92 years, Sakar Media Group is a 92 years old. And then there are some startups which we are investing, where and our own startups. So recently we invested in Matthew, which actually in the animation, it was a mythological animation on the OTT platforms. They produce movies and all these things. So our landscape is very challenging. So there are legacy employees working for so many years, and perhaps I must tell you, I am dealing to the people who are challenging the society, who are challenging the politicians, bureaucrats. So I am dealing with the journalists, who are the editors, news editors, reporters, who think they are different from the common people. So dealing with them is very difficult because they always think that, learning is not for them. Perhaps you must have listen them on the television and also read them in the newspapers. So they write a lot about the societal issues. Of course, their contribution is immense. We are the fourth pillar of the democracy. And we influence the different governments to make the policies in the society. So our L&D landscape is always challenging because there are many dimensions of the organization, and I will touch upon those experiences, what I did in current organization and what is my experiences in past organizations. To start with, this one? Yeah. So what I am observing that the skill when you are teaching to the people or when the people are learning, that skill becomes absolute in the next 3 years. And specifically in technology companies, where there are product technologies, specifically in a manufacturing setup, the product may be for long, but then the consumption patterns of the customers are changing. And specifically in service industry, in IT industry, that is prominent. If you go in manufacturing companies, specifically there may be challenge. So we need to define what are the future skills. I am actually working on the future skill for last so many years. Perhaps my presentation would be similar maybe in 3 years back, and I am going. Perhaps I would have speaking in the same language there, because what are those skills that time? Maybe perhaps today those skills are not there. And the challenge what we are facing in the organizations is we are focusing too much on the roles, too much on the job descriptions, too much on the job specifications. And whenever you hire the candidate, and specifically you also go in the management institutes, the first question they ask, what is the job description? You go in management schools, engineering colleges, first question is job description. And that actually is the blocking the growth of the organization and human being. I agree that there should be a job description, but we are too much confining the people in the job descriptions, job roles. So roles are important, but perhaps maybe you may not be aware what the roles will be tomorrow. In fact, I have seen many roles which are today redundant. In HR itself, there are many roles we made redundant. When I joined this company, I made many HR roles redundant because those roles were not required. Those roles were taken care by the technology. Let me tell you that today, when I joined 3 years back this company, there were many people in the HR and they were doing a transitional HR job. Today, their 60% job, 60% what we say, this workload is reduced because that is taken care by the technology. That is taken care by the chatbots and all these things. People don't need to come to the HR people. So how we are going to train them, how we are going to develop them, because ultimately in India, the bigger challenge is unemployment. If we are speaking, there are many news in technology companies about the right sizing. One of the organization almost fired 200 HR professionals. Oracle is focusing more on those roles are the back offices. Now what you are going to do with these people? We should be worried about the organization profitability, but what's about the humanity? Right? What they will do? We will not be able to, walk around if we are not taking care of that generation. See what's happening in Nepal. People are threatening it may happen. And India governance is so strong that like what happened in Sri Lanka, Nepal can't happen in India. I am very much confident because our constitution is very strong. But the feeling of those people is similar what is in Nepal today. I am dealing with so many people. We are actually making a policies. There are white papers published normally, and we put this in front of the ministers. And we also met many people in the government, bureaucrats. The picture what we have today is totally different in the ground level. You just travel across because we don't have that oversight. We are sitting in this 5-star hotel. We are traveling by the big cars. So we don't know what is happening on the ground. On any city you go in Mumbai, in Pune, there are people on the bike, all these chapris and, roaming around. And why this is, they also are educated. The challenge is how we are going to take care of those people also, because the employability is very important. And I am speaking for long about how much time I have, only 7 minutes remaining, right? So what is the gap there? The gap is the people are contributing 100%, but they are not happy. There's still the managers, still the employees are saying that we are not getting 100% capability. There is a huge skill gap. I will show what is what we are doing here. See that I have one of the role you see on the screen. This is the actual assessment of the people, what I did in the organization, and employees can see their own personal and career path where I am looking forward as a future workforce manager. This is the assessment of the one person. His future role is strategic people manager, future role. The fitment is the challenge, you see. The people are expecting, no, how we are going to take care of that? How we are going training them. So this is a future role, what I am looking in the human resource. And the person also has the role in our social CSR department to be, chief visionary there, how the CSR will work, how the social impact businesses, what we have are going to work. So that this skill gap is very huge. And perhaps if you do this similar exercise, you will find it's already 50-60% fitment to the next roles, if we are thinking about the future roles. Today HR manager, tomorrow senior HR manager doesn't make much sense. It's just a designation change. But if I'm looking to the change in the role, in the future skill, what I need maybe for 2 years, after 2 years or 3 years, that's the gap personally I'm observing in my organization. And there is an assessment. So those are the things, is a huge gaps, and perhaps I'm sure that in your organizations also you may, if you do this exercise thoroughly, you will find out the similar things in your own organizations also. So skill-centric organization, how does it look? It's like a house. Strong foundation, skills is the strong foundation. Our earlier speaker, he was speaking about the budget constraint. And that is a bigger challenge because when there are some challenges, the first cut is to the L&D budget. But the leaders need to think about that, okay, these skills are important. And I'm not speaking about different types of skills. I am speaking more on a transferable skill. There are many skills like leadership, behavioral skills, and for so many years we are speaking about those skills. But now over a period of time, I am confident that we should focus on those skills definitely. But we should focus more on these skills which are transferable, which are hands-on experience. Like if you train somebody on, leadership, like in leadership, how to give the feedback and all these things, we need to give them the models rather than just having a fluffy language and fluffy training sessions. It's just a vacation for participants. So we need to focus on the right tool set and skill set. Mindset is important. But mindset requires a lot of time. I have many examples where leaders are trained, they attend so many training programs, and when everything is good, they are great leaders. Everything in a normal situation. But when there are stressful situations, when there are crises, their original personality comes back. They say, I'm a good manager, I'm giving the feedback to the team, I am treating them with respectful. But it is only in a normal situation and good situation. When there are stressful situations, strikes happens, there are many challenges in the organization, their original personality, their original behaviors comes back, and they start exploring. I've seen many leaders who are great leaders in a normal situation, but very bad leaders during the crisis situation. My research, I have done the PhD on the same topic, that what are the skill set required during the crisis situations. Because mindset, behavioral change takes time. And that's why nowadays the organization should focus, along with mindset, giving the right tool set and skill set which are transferable. Simple example, like if we are training the leaders, we need to give some tools to them how to coach the team employees. And forget about these fluffy models and all these simple tools, in the workforce. I have very good, one of the builder, we met him during the Ganpati. He was sharing, he's the very prominent builder in Pune. He was sharing that, how the development and L&D happens in their community. specific community is a, I think Marwadi community, that in the school days itself, their children start sitting in their shops, shouting their fathers, mothers, and they learn how to deal with the people, unlike in other communities. And they say that they become street smart, that they learn how to communicate, they learn the finance, they learn everything, and that's why the entrepreneurship happens. What happens there? There is a skills transfer. Mindset is important, but their skills and tools they learn during the process. And we can apply this in our own organizations also. So, first thing I would like to appeal here, that recognize that job roles frequently change or disappear. There are many roles which will not be there in the future. If I ask you one question, that what are those, have you identified those roles that will be made redundant within next 2 years? Raise your hand. Very few. Perhaps we don't have the overview. But start today working on those job roles which will not be available or which will disappear, day after tomorrow. What are those roles? Make the list of that job roles. Then value skill as a permanent and transferable asset. Third strategy is build workforce resilience by focusing on skills. I am saying that, I'm again repeating, mindset is important, behavioral skills are important, but that should continue as what you were continuing for so many years. There are many training programs happening on leadership and all this, but focus on the skills which are transferable asset. And finally, adopt a skill-based mindset on the future. So rather than focusing on the role-based organization, start focusing on the skill-based organization. Like earlier days in our organization, we used to call as editors, sub-editors, but their skill set are changing because now with ChatGPT, everything, they don't need to think. If there is a news, if there is something happens, they have to just update in the system. We are creating our own language models where they have to choose only the event and automatically analysis comes. So what they will do? So they need focus more on what is the future, what is the human angle of the story they need to put, human interest stories. So in journalism it is always said that the news are made on the desk, on the base of the press releases. That is not going to happen because if you upload the press release, automatically news may happen. So that's the fundamental thing we need to focus. I will give this example how we identify in the process is typical the sales team. How do we get there? A simple thing is about first diagnosis. Diagnosis your current and future skills with the job roles. And I'm sure it is little difficult. If you want to, how we are doing here in our organizations, you can connect with me offline. I can show and, I can actually help you to understand what are those skills will be made redundant. We have actually the process there. Develop a growth mindset rather than, focusing on promotions and salary increase and roles and all these things. Focus on that with the mindset of learning on the organization and deal and link this with the real business outcomes. My time is up, but I will take just few seconds. We started the exercise and we started evaluating the ROI, that what are the HR initiatives, and simple thing is about organization redesign, because organization redesign required a lot of role changes and role redundancies. So how we are going to train the new people who are filling the positions there. So we started evaluating that, and you will not believe perhaps the simple organization redesign with the proper training programs, almost 25% revenue growth and 23% bottom line growth this last year. These are the results what actually we can link to the. So start focusing on the result, evaluating those results. Because behavioral change, assessing the behavioral change is difficult. So focusing on that. So that the effectiveness L&D professionals can show in the organizations easily. Of course, earlier speakers spoke about VR and all these things, simulation labs. We already started a simulation labs, coaching labs for the leaders. So coaching lab is actually the groups in the organization. So there are many initiatives and the organization is sensitized towards there. So there are many technological tools rather than focusing on the classroom trainings. What happened normally that in our school days, sitting in one classroom is the habit what we created is painful process because of the fear, because of the we don't like subject, and that has become over a period of time our habit. So sitting in one class for 2 days training programs are not becoming more effective. So that's how training, you can't train the people, perhaps earlier used to call as a training and development, is a learning process, and give the freedom to the people what they learn. You can always say that these are the areas, these are the future skills we are ready, provided if you learn, you will be in the organization, otherwise you don't have a future in the organization. That blunt communication we need to communicate to the people. So focus on the self-learning. People who want to make the career, anyway they will learn. We don't need to focus more, but create that opportunities, create that labs, create that culture around the organization that people think that they are going to learn every day, and not necessary. Learning can happen by observing, learning can happen on the job, and many aspects of the roles are there. So what is next? Invest on skills. Use as a skill as a currency. There are many currencies, so we need to give the tag to the skill as a currency. So use as a skill currency. Daily learning. In our meetings, we have actually the format. We don't use the diaries, but we actually printed that what is your learning yesterday's and what is 2 things you will learn from tomorrow. Just 2 words they have to write. Few positive words, what are the top priorities. There is a format, we call this as a forum models. In forum models, we can conduct the meetings in the forum models. So their daily learning happens, and they have to say, okay, what you learned yesterday and what you are learning tomorrow. That simple things we can make in a habit of a daily learning, and ask employees to own their career, own their growth. It is not HR, it is not organization. Career development is not the responsibility of organization. It is a responsibility of employees. They are the drivers of their own career. They are the drivers. Start this career asking them. Many times employee comes that what is my next career? First question ask that, what is your aspiration? Next career will be decided based on your aspiration. Are you aware that what is your aspiration? Have you self-reflected on that? So ask employees to drive their own career rather than taking you the responsibility. Otherwise, that dissatisfaction in the organization will always be there. So finally, I would like to put one thought. Skills are like a seed, and that you have to plant that seed every day. And that you have to create the habit. Leaders specifically have to speak a lot about that, because then that gives the direction to the organization. And we actually ask our leaders, our CEO himself read many books. We ask those leaders to speak about their own learnings, their own, what certification courses they did, where they attended. For example, you are sitting here, it's also a learning. I am sitting here, it's also a learning for me today, because then I refresh, I made this presentation and all these things. That's how it happened. Finally, this is my branding, because I have written this current book, The Executive Trap, which is totally based on how the career development happens in the larger organizations like us and multinationals, and how politics happen. It is not a self-help book, it is the corporate thriller, friction. And next year, there will be the 6 series movies on the OTT platform based on these books. So that's my side. Thank you so much. Thank you, Priyanka.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Vinod. I think the crowd should applaud it. I think there has to be some extra applauses. Thank you so much, sir, for touching upon the crucial topic. We thoroughly enjoyed it. And so do my audience, I believe. Ladies and gentlemen, as you all know the drill, feel free to connect with the respected speaker during the networking tea break. Due to the interest of the time, we won't be able to take any more questions in case if you have any for sir. Well, on that note, I take the opportunity once again and would like to request Mr. Prakash Kumar to please join us on the stage and felicitate Dr. Vinod Bidwaik. Everyone, let's hear it loud for Dr. Vinod.